Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you're welcome. So my name is Love and I live in Taraba State, Nigeria. So today I would like to share a few of my opinions. Okay, they are just opinions. So it was International Women's Day. I think some day last week, and actually wanted to put up a content that day, but I was unable to. So these were my thoughts on that particular day, right? So a lot has been going on with women, and if you're an African woman like me, you know that honestly it's not easy being a woman. I remember at one point in my life while I was growing up, I told one of my friends, I said, if I was to, if I was to say I believe in reincarnation, and that I was going to like come back in the next life, I would want to come back as a male. And the lady was like, why? No, you don't appreciate being a woman. Whoa. I'm proud of being a woman. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I understand, but I think it's just so stressful being a woman. Aside whatever we go through, right from when we're children, aside the fact that you, like, as an African, you're a girl child, and we know that there was a point where a girl is like, okay, she's just there to fill in the numbers. What they really want is a male child, right? And I think that over time we've grown to a point where, like, if you live in the north or in the northern part of Nigeria like me, you know that a woman is just like more like an asset, okay, until she gets married. But over time, we've gotten to a point where at least we can have conversations about women going to school, you know, going to primary school, going to secondary school, to the university. We would have women even talking about going for their masters, and women just some women making a name for themselves, right? Aside from just that identity of being someone's wife. I think that we've gone forward a bit, but there's still those conversations, right? There's still those stereotypes that sometimes just come softly. Sometimes it just hits you. Sometimes, like, personally, there are times that I've gotten like comfortable, so much comfortable being a woman, that sometimes I forget that there's some stereotype that is attached to being a woman, right? There's just this idea that you know you are you're just something less than a man, okay? And I feel like for ages, or for years now, people have fought for women. Women have tried to fight for themselves, and um, that's where some concepts like feminism, comes from. And personally, to an extent, I feel like I have a personal opinion about feminism, right? And I do want to say I'm a feminist, but you know if I want to say I'm a feminist in the light of all the things I hear, some what some people's idea of feminism is, then I may not likely call myself a feminist in that sense, but I have an idea in my mind. I have what I believe is feminism, okay? That a woman is not less, okay? She's not a lesser being simply because she's a woman. That she can be anything and achieve anything she wants to be. And personally, I've always been a dreamer. I've always been someone that wants to achieve anything that my mind, can construe. Like, if I believe that I can do this thing or I can become this thing, like I want to go after it, I want to become it. I don't want to, tell myself that I can't do it, because I was raised in a family where most of us were girls. So um I've had to just believe in myself. And thankfully, um I've had parents that never really told you you couldn't do anything because you're a girl. Like, when it comes to um life in general, of course, living in Africa, there are things that will just be delegated to you, like you're a girl, yeah. But when it comes to anything you wanted to achieve in life, right, there's never been any kind of like anything to tell you, like from a young age, that, oh no, you're a girl, so you can't do this, you can't do that. So, but I remember I served in Ibadan. So I was in Ibadan for a few years, and I went to Ibadan to serve. While I went to Ibadan, when I went to my PPA to report, and they were like, "Oh, you're from the north, you are Hausa," because most people in that part of the world, right? Most of them just have this idea that once you're from the north, you are Hausa. So there's nothing. So they were like, I am coming, like, you're not married yet. I'm like, no, I'm not married. Okay, when will you get married? I'm not thinking about getting married now. And they're like, this one. When will you get married? Like, you're from the north, and I'm not thinking about getting married. So the idea is that a girl from the north is like, she gets married in time. So I didn't fit into that stereotype at the time. But you know I had to prove myself. I found myself in an environment that I had to prove myself, and I had to prove myself over and over again. Even when I went for my masters, like, I felt like I had to prove myself, like I had to do extra to prove myself to everybody that I am what I say that I am, or I am what I'm what, how do I put it, like I'm someone you should actually listen to, or I have something to offer, right? I felt like I had to do extra just because I was from the north and I'm a woman. But hopefully we would get to the point where those wouldn't be issues. Then I finished serving, and I came back home, started to work, later got married, and had to live in the north after being away for a while, right? So the exposure and the vastness, whatever you'd say you now know, or the kind of experiences you had, like, you're now back to a place where seems a little backward, right? And I had to get married and live in the north again. Um, and most times there are situations, there are things that it just like real, it just frustrates me, because the way women are being treated, the ways what women go through, it's it's frustrating, really. Like, I live in a place where a woman is a woman and a man at the same time. I don't know if you get it. Like, a woman goes to hustle for money to take care of a man and the children. and she still comes back home to have to do all the house chores. So I've had instances where I've had to argue with persons or have discussions with persons, and I'm like, okay, what are we saying? What are we saying? Is this woman being a woman, or she's being a man? Like, what is she? Because if as a man, if a man is supposed to provide and protect a woman, and a woman is supposed to nurture the home in the traditional sense of the word, right? That is what traditionally marriages have been. A man goes out there, hustles and brings whatever income he has, brings it home, takes care of his wife and his children, and the woman doesn't really need to do much. She just needs to stay home, take care of the kids, take care of the home. That's what it has been. But we've gotten to a point where we're comfortable letting the woman, go out there, hustle, and she's coming back, she's going into the kitchen, she's coming back, she's having to take care of the children, she's waking up in the morning, having to bathe the children, do everything, and the man virtually does nothing. So I ask myself, like, where are we headed to? Where are we headed to? Because the very thing that is supposed to bring a man honor, right, which is responsibility, his ability to take responsibility for his home. If that's very essence of it, a man doesn't want to take it, doesn't want to take that responsibility, but he wants to have the honor that comes with it, then what are we saying? Or what are we not saying? Because I think that there's something that should be looked into. I see women go through a lot, and to an extent I've had my own share, okay? And like I said, there are certain issues around, me being open about my own personal life that with time I think I'll be able to, share some things. But I remember before I got married, I told my husband, I said, you'd have to make a choice, right? If you want to have a traditional family where, like, you go out and hustle and you bring everything, and I'm at home, I take care of everything, it's fine. I don't have a problem with having to stay home and work, so long as you're able to provide for everything I and the children need. If you're able to take care of the house, you're able to pay the bills, and you expect me to be at home to take care of the house, that's fine. But you cannot expect that I should also go to work. I should also have a form of support that I'm bringing in. Or, when some men tell you, or they ask you, like, what are you bringing to the table? Like, what are you bringing to the table? Because, of course, we've had instances where some women feel so entitled, and I'm going to talk about that at some other time, right? Where a woman feels so entitled, like, no, I'm a woman, like, I don't have to do anything. Like, even if I have, I'm not going to support you. Yeah, that's an extreme, and I understand that. But when we get to a point that a man is so comfortable with, just being anything other than a man, what's like like, I don't understand. What are you expecting? What do you want? You want a wife, or you want a husband? You marry the husband, or you marry the wife? You don't want to take responsibility, and you don't want to support with chores in the house. You have this idea in your head that your woman's place is in the kitchen. Let's not argue that. But okay, bring the bills, pay the bills is a problem. So, like, what are we not telling ourselves? I came across this book one time when I was in Ibadan, okay, the book was talking about raising of sons, and the woman spoke a lot. That book was it was an exposition for me, because to an extent it opened my mind to certain things that I didn't really understand. How that as a man, so long as you're the head of your home, right, you're there to protect that woman, you're there to provide for her, you're there to actually not just be there physically, not just be there like financially, you're to be there physically and in every sense of the word. So I come back home and I see that it's like there's just so much going wrong, and there's so many marriages going on, right? So many people are getting married, but I feel like we don't really understand our responsibility, like what it actually entails to be married, what does it actually mean to be married. Because if you want to have a marriage where you have roles, then play your roles. But if you want to have a home where there's flexibility, okay, you must not be in the kitchen every time, you must not be the one to sweep the house every time, you must not be the one to mop the house every time, because you're also supporting in other aspects. Then I think that's not selfish. But honestly, if you want to go what we're doing, it's one of the reasons why most women don't have regards for their husbands, like zero regards, because they're like, I'm feeding you, like, what's that? What's that? Who does that? So why should I even feel like you're anything special, right? So just going through the week, I've had all these thoughts, just having these back and forth conversations in my mind, and I feel like I need to share that. If we really, really, really want our marriages to work, right, we really, really need to get it right. There's some basic things that we need to get it right. The reasons most people get divorced is not only infidelity. Okay, there are many, many reasons why people get divorced. Some people get divorced simply because they feel like they've been emotionally abused. And it's in this kind of ways where you feel like you are being manipulated, like virtually manipulated into being everything that you were not wired to be. But these are just my thoughts, these are just my opinions. I'm not a specialist, neither am I a relationship expert. I am just sharing my opinions. So they may be valid to you or they may not be valid to you. But these are just my opinions. I feel like as a woman, there's so much we deal with, and you don't need to add to it. Okay. You don't need to add to it. Let's just have better space. We don't have to struggle with so much, like we don't have to suffer to prove that we are women. Okay. Those are just my thoughts, and I really, really pray that God will give us the grace as the younger generation to raise our sons right, because I think that to an extent it comes from how these men were raised, right? And you ask the question, who raised this kind of men? Who raised this kind of men with no sense of responsibility whatsoever? But I pray that when we have our own, not just me, all of us, will make a conscious effort to raise sons. Not just concentrate on raising the girl child and telling her, no, you're supposed to be this, you're supposed to be that, and everything she's not supposed to be, but we'll actually take out the time to raise our sons well. Because if we raise our daughters well and we don't raise our sons right, then what have we done? We've not done anything. Like, you would have women that are raised right, who know what they're supposed to do, but you have men that are just there, you know. So those are just my thoughts. This was a video I was supposed to upload on, you know, International Women's Day. So, but I had to do that today, and I hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video, another content. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Very, very important. So, thank you guys for watching. Meaning God, and God bless you. Bye bye.